Is there not an entire section on this subject?
No, yes, I may have changed my mind in the meantime on that, so it's unfair. I may have changed my mind about Mithra, for example.
Is your book for sale about it?
Yes.
Let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you.
But have you ever asked God for forgiveness? I'm not sure I have. I just go and try and do a better job from there. I don't think so.
Let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you, let me.
Say it like you mean it. This is my Bible.
What up? I got something to say.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Let Me Tell You, episode 41. I am your host, the Evangelical Norm. We are into the new year, a couple weeks in, and it's been insanity squared since the beginning. So we're going to jump right in. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. First and foremost, we are going to talk about some abortion stuff today. So we're going to put our little counter up there that we usually put up. This is just from, I can't even remember the name of the website that we get this from, but it kind of breaks it down. The United States today, 189, and this is just your averages again. So 189 babies murdered today. Since 1973, 61 million kids have been killed in this country through abortion. Planned Parenthood since 1970, 8 million. By Planned Parenthood this year alone, it is what, the 14th, 13th? What is today's date? It's the, here we go. It's got to be on here somewhere. 13th, and we have already seen Planned Parenthood kill 11,000 children in this country. The United States this year, 30,000 kids have died. 30,000 babies have died, murdered in the womb by abortionists. This year, after 16 weeks of gestation, will be 1,400 of them. Due to rape and incest, 299. It is the argument that they use to push for abortion is far less than what is actually done for an abortion. I was reading something this week, some kind of an argument on Twitter or Facebook or something, and you always hear people talk about abortion should be between a woman and her doctor, but rarely is it between her and her doctor. It's between her and some dude or girl or assassin at a Planned Parenthood or some random abortion mill. Rarely is their doctor conferred with. It's not like they're going to see their OBGYN and having conversations about this. They're going to an anonymous clinic, and it's all mainly because of convenience. Very little has to do with life of the mother, rape, or incest. And whether or not those are not reasons. Let me make it clear. I'm not advocating for those in any way. Rape, incest, life, health of the mother, none of those are reason to kill a child. If the mother's life is in danger, we do everything we can to save the mother's life. And if the baby is lost in the process, then we mourn. But we do not intentionally go in and murder that child to save the mother's life. We try to save the mother's life, and if we lose the baby, we mourn. Rape and incest, we should not be punishing the product of the crime, the result of a crime, for the crime. We should be punishing the criminal, the rapist, or the child molester, the person who is molesting their family member. Those are the people that should be punished, not the baby that is resulting of, it is a result of a horrible situation, but it is still a human life, and we don't murder babies because of that, and it's a very, very small number. Black babies since 1973, 18 million. This is again, the number one cause of death among black children is abortion. I mean, we've got statistics that are saying there are more kids aborted in the state of New York, black children aborted in the state of New York, than are actually born in the state. Over 50% of black pregnancies in New York end in abortion. It ends in the death of the child in the womb. So worldwide, since 1980, over 1 billion children have been murdered worldwide since 1980. Worldwide this year, we're already seeing 1.3 million children have been murdered this year. Since I've been talking, in the 5 minutes since I've been talking, 358 children have died in this country. And worldwide today, 8,000 children have been murdered, not just died, murdered by an abortionist. Now, granted, I'm recording this late at night, so it's a little different for me, but tomorrow morning when this is released and you're listening to this Monday morning, by the time you are 6 minutes and 20 seconds in, 390 children have been murdered in this country, and 8,469 have been murdered worldwide by abortionists, by hired assassins whose purpose in life is nothing more than to kill children in the womb. Let that sink in. Let that sit there and just ruminate for a bit. And let's talk a little bit about Planned Parenthood. Let's talk about them. I got to move this picture down a little bit. There we go. So just a picture I grabbed. This is a meme that's out there. Of course, you know the Humane Society, they're all about saving dogs and cats. Adopt me. But Planned Parenthood, they're tissue. Adoption referrals. And now I'm reading from the 2018-2019 annual report from Planned Parenthood. Abortion services by Planned Parenthood in this year, fiscal year June of 2018 to June of 2019, 345,672 abortions. Those are abortion procedures. Surgical or chemical procedures for abortion. You add into that the emergency contraception kits, which were 593,000. Now, granted, emergency contraception kits, not every one of those women was pregnant. Those are the morning after pill, Plan B. Those are the ones where unprotected sex the night before they go into Planned Parenthood in the morning, they get a pill that takes care of anything that is there. So granted, some of those women were probably not pregnant. If we just cut that number in half, you're still looking at somewhere around close to 600,000 babies who have been murdered in this country by Planned Parenthood last year, in that fiscal year, June 2018 to June 2019. How many adoption referrals? I mean, Humane Society is all about adopting out dogs and cats, and it's a felony to abuse an animal and so on. 4,279. So not even 1% of in comparison to abortions. Not even 1% of adoption referrals. The Inhumane Society. And of course, granted, now there's prices and stuff on there that you look, and so on. So those of you listening, I realize you can't see the picture, but there's the Humane Society next to Planned Parenthood, and you've got dog and a cat with Adopt Me signs around their neck and a baby with a sign that says tissue. Because again, that's the argument, that they're nothing but tissue. And so, and then you got, adult dog, $50, adult cat, $25, kittens, looks like it says $60, but I don't know why kittens would cost more. But And then on the Planned Parenthood side, liver, $125, kidney, $125, brain, $999. So the money that we would pay for adopting a child, far greater amounts are being paid by research companies and so on to buy the organs and body parts of aborted babies. Let it all sink in for a minute as we look at this. I mean, when you look at this annual report for Planned Parenthood, breast care, cancer screenings went down, Pap smear tests went down, STD tests, I believe went down. I didn't pull up the comparison, but I know that the cancer screenings went down, the breast care went down, the Pap smear tests went down, but abortions went up. Abortions went up in this fiscal year. And I believe adoption referrals actually went down. So, and here's the other thing that really just irritated me, was the fact that the amount of money, the taxpayer dollars that they got, $616,000 from taxpayer funds given to Planned Parenthood. Now, remember when Donald Trump said he was going to defund them? And there were, 50,000 was cut here and 10,000 was cut there and so on. But still, they got a record number. They got more money from the government, more of your tax dollars than they had ever got in the past. And this is a year that was known. Multiple stories came out about defunding. They took this money away and they took this money away, and Title IX or whatever different monies were taken away from Planned Parenthood, but yet still record numbers of dollars, taxpayer dollars, went to this assassin organization. It should be considered a terrorist organization. More Americans have been killed by Planned Parenthood than all the wars we've ever been in put together. Maybe that's an incorrect statement, not just Planned Parenthood, but abortion in the United States since 1973, spread across all the different outlets that perform abortions. More babies have been murdered than every war we've been involved in since the existence of our country combined. It's a horrifying thought. It is a horrifying thought. And this president, again, I'm the guy that I will give Trump props when he does something right, and he's done stuff right in the past. We'll get to talking about something that Trump did that was good in a minute, but I will not hold back when he does something that's bad, and this is one thing. If Trump is going to continue to be this president, he needs to stand up and honor the promises that he made, and one of those promises is to defund Planned Parenthood, to take every ounce of money, every cent away from them. They shouldn't get zero taxpayer dollars. They could get zero money from any federal or state organization. None. Period. So Mr. Trump, President Trump, if you're watching, honor that. I'm sure you're out there watching right now. You got nothing better to do, right? In between childish, immature tweets, go ahead and please defund Planned Parenthood. All right? Let's get that promise taken care of. But why? Why is this becoming such a continuing to grow and grow and grow? And the reason why is this. Celebrities in this nation, celebrities in this country are constantly bolstering this, and it's insane. Michelle Williams stood up on the stage of the Golden Globes, the Golden Molech Awards, as we should call them, apparently after what she said, and literally stood there holding this golden idol, talking about the fact that she would not have got it if she had not murdered her child. And On top of that, she's pregnant as she's standing there talking about it. I don't know what kind of demonic mentality you have to stand there holding an idol, saying, I sacrificed a child to get this. I murdered a child, while absolutely acknowledging the life that is within you at the moment. Flabbergasted. I'd say I'm speechless, but here I am talking about it. So obviously I'm not. I'm not speechless. But it's hard to fathom. It is so hard to cognitively express the demonic, and that's the only word that we can use for it. It's absolutely demonic influence on a person to stand with their Golden Molech Award and talk about the fact that I would never have got this if I didn't exercise my woman's right to choose. Translation, murder my baby. And proudly holding the idol, the Golden Molech, that the child was sacrificed to. And all the while, I mean, who's to say that something's not going to pop up and she's going to decide to kill the one that's in her womb? I mean, it's the woman's right to choose, right? Remember, that's translated into murder my baby. Women get to murder babies legally in this country and around the world because of a ridiculous Supreme Court ruling opinion that says they have the right to do so. And as we can tell, again, that promise that Trump made that he was going to give us these great conservative pro-life justices has not happened. Neither Gorsuch or Kavanaugh is the pro-life judge that we want on the Supreme Court. And neither one of them is going to help us to overturn Roe. Guarantee it. So again, there's your bad Trump. You know, the things that Trump has done that are wrong, he's continuing to let monies go to these murderous, horrible organizations that claim to be nonprofit but are making profits hand over fist. I mean, I didn't even get to the financial data, but the profit that these guys, total revenue $1.6 billion came into Planned Parenthood. Total expenses $1.528 billion. Or no, maybe that's million. No, that's got. Now maybe it is million. It just doesn't seem right. Yeah. Okay. All amounts are in millions. So yeah, it's 1.638. 616 million. So yeah, it's 1 billion. So profit is somewhere around $100 million. Am I reading that right? Maybe. Okay. Maybe I should have examined that a little bit more. But they made a lot of profit. We'll put it that way. I think that's hundreds of thousands. So maybe it is millions. $1.6 million. And nah, it's got to be billions. As I'm looking at it, it's got to be billions. So yeah, hundreds of millions of dollars in profit came in, or somewhere around that. They are making money hand over fist. This is supposed to be a nonprofit, but they're getting funding, one from the government and two from donors like Michelle Williams, who is willing to sacrifice her child to a little statue. What can you say? It's literally heartbreaking to have listened to that speech as many times as I've heard it over and over on the internet, and just wanting to cry out, why? Do not comprehend the life that you've taken. And obviously she doesn't. This is, again, why the gospel needs to be continually preached, because that's the only thing that's going to change this kind of attitude, is the knowledge that this is sin and we need to repent of this sin. This is never going to impact her until she understands the sinfulness of it. It's why we call it murder. It's why we use the terminology that we do. It's why we use the pictures and the graphic pictures that we do, so people absolutely understand what it is they're doing, and hopefully will come to a place of repentance. And in the immortal words of Forrest Gump, that's all I have to say about that. Till next week or something like that. So that brings us to our final topic for the night. 3-4 days in, 2 days in, something like that, into the new year, and World War III was trending. World War III was trending. And this was ridiculous on so many levels. Okay, here's a good Trump. Trump went in, sent troops in, people in, somebody went in and killed, I think it was a drone strike, so didn't even send anybody in, just somebody with a remote control. Went in, killed Soleimani. Now, for the record, I'd never even heard this dude's name until he was dead. But apparently he's one of the big generals in Iran, one of the top terrorists of the world. Hundreds, if not thousands, of American lives have been lost due to this man Soleimani. So going in and taking this guy out was the right thing to do. Well done. Good job, Mr. President. But people lost their freaking minds after this. Now, granted, we knew there was going to be a retaliation of some kind, but people are talking about Trump's getting us into World War III and blah, blah, blah. One, Iran isn't dumb enough to try to take on the United States. For real. They're just not that dumb. I mean, it's not apparently not the brightest regime in the world, but they're not that dumb. So I knew when media started talking about World War III, this is, again, just fear-mongering propaganda that they can use against this president that they hate. And news outlets, CNN, MSNBC, excuse me, there's my one yawn for the show, MSNBC, CNN, all these different, ABC, all these different news outlets were literally pushing the Iranian propaganda for them. They didn't even need to. I mean, all these people were talking about how wrong it was for the president and praising Soleimani and talking about how much he was loved in the country and blah, blah, blah. This man was a terrorist. And he took American lives, and he should have been snuffed out. That is well within the rights of our government to do what they did. And again, it was well within what we expected for the retaliation that happened. So the night that after Soleimani gets taken out, the next night Iran starts attacking American bases in Iraq and firing missiles. Apparently they fired 15 missiles into different bases. No American casualties at all. No injuries, no deaths, nothing. Apparently, the Americans were notified before any of this happened. So Iran was smart enough to go, we don't want to take American lives. We just want to look like we're giving this show of force. And so they fired these missiles, didn't kill anybody. Apparently one of them went cuckoo and took down a Ukrainian airliner and killed well over 100 people. No survivors in this aircraft. And then that was it. Sorry, 2 yawns today. That was it. Iran's done. There's our retaliation. We're not going to kill anybody. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to fire some bombs and let it go. But yet still, Americans are losing their minds. Not Americans, the left. The people, the liberals, the leftists are losing their minds over this stuff. World War III, Trump's going to get us in a world. No. Again, here's the problem. And again, it comes back to consistent worldviews. Here's the deal. When Obama went in and killed bin Laden, which again was right thing to do, if you had no problem with that and you praised that as a brave move and it was such a good thing that the president did, but yet you are condemning Donald Trump for what he did, you're part of the problem. Your consistency is off. And the same thing on the other side. If you were one of those people, and I was, and it's why I'm try to be careful with my words, when Obama went in and got bin Laden, when I would say Obama did not kill bin Laden. He sent some people in and they killed him. Right? But if in the same vein you were right now going, Trump killed Soleimani, Trump killed Soleimani. No, he did not. He sent some people in. He made a decision. But here again, and that's a petty thing. But it comes back to consistent worldviews. And we have such inconsistent problems on both sides, right and the left. My conservative friends who are all up gung-ho, Trump got him, Trump got him. First thing I asked him, did Obama kill bin Laden? Oh, well, no. Okay. Fix your consistency, because it's broke. And the same thing on the left. Obama was, this is so bad that Trump did this. Did you say the same thing about Obama when he did it? Well, it wasn't different. Same essential situation. And we are constantly, and this is the problem with the partisan, this is why I say everybody should be fired. Fire all of them. All the politicians. Get rid of all of them. Start over fresh. With nobody who has been in major political office. We push all the existing people who've been there for 40 years. Get rid of them. Put them out to pasture. Give them their retirement. Say you're done. And then bring in people who have held no major national office of that vein. I mean, I don't want to put a bunch of people in who have absolutely no experience in legislating and so on, but well-known, famous, long-time legislators should have no chance. And term limits need to be imposed. This is what our country should look like. Consistency is the key. And I hope you hear that. And I hope as you hear and you listen that you make attempts to change. I hope. I mean, there's not more I can do than to ask and say, please, consider where you are and whether your worldview is being consistent. And one thing that can help is when we stop looking at things from a political view, from the left or the right, and we start looking things as Christians, and we look at it from a biblical worldview. Because if we are going to take things from a biblical standpoint, it's going to force us to be consistent because we have a consistent standard. So my my encouragement to you today, my admonition, I guess, is if you are a Christian, stop looking at things from political. I would recommend that all my Christian friends drop their political affiliation. I did it when they nominated Trump. I'm no longer a Republican. I am independent. I am unaffiliated. And even got the thing, I don't get to vote in a Utah primary this year because I did not choose a party. You have to affiliate with a party in order to vote on a ballot in Utah for primaries. So I'm just not. Because I refuse to. I can go in and vote as an unaffiliated. I can vote in a general election, just not part of the primaries. So I'm not, because I refuse to affiliate with any of the political parties at this point, because they're all ridiculous. But again, my Christian friends, I beg you to look at these things from a biblical worldview. If you have the stones to do it, drop your political affiliation as well. And truly vote according to your values and not according to a political party. And my non-Christian friends that are watching this, all three of you, repent and believe the gospel and let that formulate your new worldview in a consistent manner. And in order for that to happen, friends, we have to always preach the gospel at all times and use words because they are necessary. And until next week, Soli Deo Gloria.